talk about how big their heads are in the game. Because I tried to take a screenshot of Lune's arms and her hand next to her head is massive. Like, this is how big a hand is relative to your face. Her hand was like down here and way smaller. Tiny hand syndrome. So you fucking hate it! Arrgh! Tiny hand syndrome. Ever since I mentioned it, yeah. And then I remember that really specific time when they reduced Maria from Silent Hill 2 Remake's head size. And I was like, dude, I told you, it's a fucking thing. It happens. They accidentally make their heads too big or something. But they hated me for I spoke the truth. I'm a truther. No, I left Jackie in the car again because I thought it was funny. Sorry. But aren't you Maria? Yeah, I'm sitting on a blanket for it. This. We're close enough. Cinematic walking. Well, V is kind of a dumbass. Hey, Delamain delivers his body for you, so it's fine. I need rock! Yeah. I'm just gonna add some random lines. Okay, if it's not exact. Who give a hoot? Not me. Who gives a poo? That's what I'm saying. Who give a hooting? Add the choker. Down, 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 down. I say otaku, you say opa. Opai. Wrong language. I say otaku, you say opai. Can we leave that in yesterday? No. Because I love chat and fruit. Okay, this tattoo's not exact, but I don't give a hoot. I think it's fine. No hoot or holler is given. Thanks, Kale Crunch. Fuck my Chungus life. Thanks, Namu Namimi. My nose is runny. I'm gonna blame Punchy. I don't have any tissues in my vicinity. Ugh. I blame Iblis. Stupid fucking cat. Inshallah, he dies. I hate him. Bye bye, kitty. It's squashed like a bug. I organize all my Pokemon cards though. And then I made a page of the Black Belt Giga Chads in my binder. Just, I don't know, because they had a bunch of poses for some reason. I guess I'm just gonna start collecting muscular men. I hope they have a Bruno card in a new pack or something. Because I won't have the old ones. Sexy Bruno. Stupid sexy Bruno. What is this? Dun, 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 oh. Yeah, it's not the new packs. Because I already opened them. Because John Pokemon sent them to me. They said, good job. Here's some packs. And then I said, more! Thanks, Kamoosh. Are they sending more pack? I think every time they have a new one, they'll send it. Because I think they added me to the PR list. Hopefully. Well, there's like a Pokemon convention coming up soon. Maybe I can go trade some cards there or something. Maybe someone wants my Regirock EX full art or something. I don't know. I'll trade some of my ugly John Pokemons away. Dinky. Black Bolt White Flare? What the fuck is that? That sounds like my VTuber name. The new upcoming set? Yeah, I'm gonna ask for that one. Because good things should only keep happening to me. I don't care if something good happened to you. It should have happened to me instead. My VTuber name is, how does it go again? Kurokage... Wait. How does it go again? Kurokage Kuroyami it means like black shadow, white darkness or something. Shirokage Kuroyami Aohime Aka Kitsune, and she's a massive titty spirit succubus from the future to suck your bank savings. Yeah. And those are my Oshi marks. Oh my god, we have the same mamas. We have the same mamas. That makes us sisters. Ba, 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 ba. Dun, 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 dun. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Future drama like soap operas? Yeah. I think that's just streamer drama in general. It's awesome. Start with the screenplay Google Doc, yeah. I did notice there, I think in the past 5 years or so, with the emergence of a lot of Google Doc-esque callouts, there has been a lot of people who have actually ended up diminishing the consequences, or ended up diminishing actual shit that people have gone through, because I just in the hashtag #MeToo movement propelled that kind of call out posts a lot more into light, and then you ended up with a lot of people, like I said, that happened in the past 5 years, where they will make a massive call out post for something that actually amounts to just someone was mildly annoying. And the kind of language that they use to describe someone for being mildly annoying is like they want that person to suffer the consequences of getting canceled and deplatformed forever. And that is so insanely manipulative, and it has been weaponized either consciously or subconsciously by people who have an agenda to push making those kinds of documents using that kind of language. That was really verbose, but basically what I'm saying is people are like saying that they had a bad vibe from someone and therefore that person should be canceled. Which is really out of pocket. Yeah, the rise of fake therapist wording. It's crazy. And people get manipulated really easily by that kind of emotional language. Thanks, cool sucks. I mean, I don't think it's something a lot of people really think about because I mean, if you're a civilian, you go to your job, you do your 9 to 5, whatever, you come home, and you're like, oh, time to watch my favorite streamer. Oh my god, there's a Google Doc, I'm gonna read it. You're not gonna give it that much scrutiny because why would someone do something like that? But then because of you add in the culture of fuck you, I got mine, and using people as stepping stone in the streaming community, some people have seen this kind of like call out post as a way to gain notoriety and attention and also cut somebody off from everybody that they know in the industry. So it gets weaponized to that degree, and there's no way anybody would ever know whether or not this person deserved it because it's so muddied. Kind of fucked. I remember there was a girl that actually was trying to like jump on the hashtag Me Too thing, and then everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And she got it got like disproven. And she was basically using that kind of language to describe like, "Oh, this happened to me. Like, I was a victim of this guy being creepy towards me, but he never actually did anything, but he was like being weird towards me and touched me or whatever." And the guy came out with his side, and he was like, "By the way, that's not what happened. It was like consensual. Maybe there were some signals that were mixed or whatever, blah, blah, blah." And then like some of the girlfriends of the girl came out and was like, "I remember you fucking left me alone with the dude at a party once. Like, what the fuck are you? You're a terrible person, blah, 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 blah." And then everybody was like, "Yeah, bye, girl." And it's just the whole, oh, I need to use this kind of language to get to like jump on this thing to like get somebody cut off from everyone else because I need to get ahead of the story or something like that. Fucking crazy. What is wrong with people? Thanks, Gnome Town. Like, even if I talked about shitty people in my life, it's not possible to be completely objective, but I will still say, like, no, I don't think he was a drug addict, but this happened, this happened. Like, no, I don't think he necessarily explicitly cheated, but this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what... but then a fucking way of saying it would be like, yeah, they, abused me and took advantage of my weak mental state, and they didn't take like my suicide attempt seriously, and they also were weaponizing my depression. Like, that kind of language to describe something is crazy when it is a massive exaggeration of what actually happened. But going into the nuance of that, yeah, the therapy speak where you're more focused on eliciting empathy and sympathy from a demographic, from your audience, than actually telling what happened. Crazy. Seeing it so much. Yeah, I have strong feelings on it because I think it's very vile. And it's just incredibly manipulative. Yeah, the gaslighting meta. I mean, that's where that meme comes from. It's like I'm autistic and neurodivergent because it's kind of in a way to say, let me put these disorders I have or like mental health issues I have in front of the issue that I'm getting called out for as a shield to deflect any kind of wrongdoing. So if you criticize me for this, you're criticizing that, and criticizing that is problematic. Therefore, you can't criticize me. Or weird. happens a lot, yeah. I think with the Google Docs and Twitlongers and whatever that shit being more prevalent now, it's happening more than I noticed from like 5 years ago. Well, the nuance of it being like both sides having an issue is how the language, how it's being communicated. Because it's not that I'm saying that you shouldn't believe victims, but then it's actually really easy for people to say, "Oh, so you don't believe victims?" when you ask some questions in a story that pretty much comes down to what actually happened. Are you overblowing out of proportion? Because there's a massive difference between someone who's like, this person raped me, they put a drug in my drink, I drank it, passed out, woke up in the hospital, and multiple people told me that they were like abusing me or something, whatever. Versus someone dropping a massive Google Doc on someone going like, I had some really uncomfortable situations with this person. One time I was at a party and they didn't make eye contact with me. And I noticed that I think they gossiped so to somebody else about me that and it like ruined my opportunities with certain streamers or whatever. So just be very careful about this person. You know, there's a massive difference between these two. But then the way that language or like that communicative form of dropping a Twitlonger or Google Doc is used the same way, and people are bundling the second situation into things it like in that way so that you would feel more emotionally vulnerable or like more emotionally sensitive to it, so you have more empathy and sympathy for them. It's about someone in particular. I have noticed this happen multiple times in the past few years. Like I also like, no, Ellie, your boyfriend didn't emotionally abuse you, he broke up with you. Pretty, yeah. Like being hyperbolic, being very hyperbolic, yeah. But then the nuance and like the problem of having this discussion about whether or not the legitimacy of someone's like wrongdoing was serious or whatever someone else suffered, people will immediately have a knee-jerk reaction of going like, "Oh, so you don't believe victims? Oh, so you're victim blaming?" Like, well, no, because it depends on what's being said. Were there receipts? Were there people saying this and this? How was the story set up? What were the stories that they gave? Were they specific? Were they not specific? Exaggerating this kind of thing fucks over actuals. Exactly. And that's why I think, even if they aren't doing it on purpose, they're like subconsciously putting real victims at the forefront of what they're trying to sell. Because if you say anything, if you try to poke holes in a story that seems kind of shaky, they'll immediately say, so you don't believe victims? And I think, I mean, there's also like, I think a sentiment where that I see specifically in streamer circles is if someone was weird to you or like snubbed you or you're jealous of them, they have some people want to retaliate by massively exaggerating what happened so that they can try to cut them off from everyone. In retaliation, basically. And then when you find out what actually happened, it was, oh, they didn't invite me to their birthday party or something like that. I don't know, something fucking insane that was that did not need to be blown up like that. Woe is me. I knew a girl that had a fucking breakdown, like crying because a prominent streamer unfollowed her. And she's a bit of a Kia. She was like a smaller streamer, and then when people found out she was like a little bit weird, you know, no call out posts, nothing. It was just gossip within an inner circle going like, oh, this person did this to her boyfriend. Okay, that's kind of weird. Let's just not interact with her. And then a prominent streamer unfollowed her, and she fucking cried, like broke down crying. On stream? No. Privately. I was like, why did they hate me? I didn't do anything. Crazy. Thanks, Glimson. Do you think streamers are hard to say having weird ass egos? Yeah, I do. Because, I mean, it's just such a weird fucking job. It's just a fucking weird career. So it attracts weird people. And also the emotional and maturity stunting being and playing video games all day and getting paid so much. Yeah, you kind of have to be weird to be a streamer. You have to. Why is so much drawing negative? Well, you know, for the most part, it's not. Like, okay, so let's say we have a room of 100 people and 10 of those people are really weird. And then 5 out of those 10 weird people are extremely bad. That still leaves 90 people that are decent. And like maybe 20 really good people. And really friendly, great to have all around, very wholesome. But then those 5 people just is still bigger than like, let's say, an average of people that work in fucking accounting. But I think it's because of the motivations that people have and the objectification of streaming that make certain people act out on this weirdness. Like the needing to be bigger, needing to be a bigger stream, needing to use people, needing to network. Because that actually boils down to a lot of why people have problems with each other. Or like someone like I knew a few people that would tell their friends like, let's say, for example, a friend got a really good opportunity, like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this opportunity at this event, and then one of their friends would tell them, oh, that event? Like, they're not even good, whatever, like, it's not that... Actually, I'm doing this event at this other event, by the way. And then they're incapable of being happy for their friends, because they have to find a way to one-up them or diminish what they have, or try to, like, just belittle it so that they can feel better about themselves for some reason. Not a competition, except it is to these people. That was the whole problem with that one girl, that the one VTuber girl that was like, you can only be my artist, don't be an artist for her. Because it's, for some reason, she thought it's a zero-sum game. Yeah, it's just like insecurity, and I think this kind of career just breeds insecurity for people that feel like they need to have it all. And if they don't have it, they have to take it from someone else because they don't feel like they're enough on their own. Very weird. Yeah, well, that person is... I don't think people have heard from them since then. Narcissism and insecurity walk hand in hand. Yeah. Not a lot of weirdos. How many streamers can you really trust? Well, that's a fucking stupid question. There's so many different streamers out there. Whenever people generalize streamers as being like disgusting, rat infested, allergic to water, and I'm like, okay, from what I can hear from that, it seems like you only watch 4 streamers and 2 of them or 3 of them are from OTK. And I'm like, when I think the streamers I watch, they're like dad gamers. They just play games. Mostly single player. Kind of chill out. There's so many different kinds. Is someone a dad? No, oh. Yeah, it's just saying all streamers is just way too broad. But then I would assume when people say streamers, they mean like the ones that are just constantly viral and blowing up. For doing crazy shit, I don't know. Yeah, getting it decks or 2 baited or something. Oh yeah, fun fact, if you didn't know, I did mention this before, but those K-pop fan outrage actually got me my visa, O1B visa approved as a special work visa to stay in the States and work in the States. Because the outrage actually generates an article written about you. If an article is written about you, that means you are a special person whose position in the community and like circle that you work in means you are special, so you qualify for that. So the articles are actually references that you use as part of your application. Let's see who's laughing now. Thank you. Because it means you're significant. You're notable. You're not a Kia. You're notable enough that they had articles written about you in that sphere. Thanks, Dippadoo. Love the term Kia. I mean, what else would you say? Kia is also just not offensive. It's like kind of an endearing term. That's the vibe I get. Yeah, irrelevant's too mean. Kia is like a cute word, I think. Kia, the history of the word Kia comes from this person on Twitter who said that they cried meeting their idol and number one, like, person they look up to, celeb or whatever. They said they cried meeting Kia. And then someone quote retweeted it and said, Kia. And the implication was nobody fucking knows who Kia is. It's a no name. No one knows who that is, and this person fucking lost their mind meeting a nobody. So then people started adapting the word into other things, like this is a Kia, this is the Kia Asylum, this and that and this and that. That's where the word comes from. Word history. It's just, I like that word. It's way nicer than calling somebody irrelevant, which feels extremely hostile. I have a brush pack? No, I've been using the same brushes I ported from Photoshop for years. But flop doesn't mean the same as Kia. Flop implies that at one point you weren't a Kia and then you became Kia. Flop has a journey attached to that name, to that word. Kia is more of a boom. Studying the history of Kia 101. Yeah, for example, now use it in a sentence. Katy Perry's in her flop era. Longer a firework, no longer hearing her roar. Kia sang my neck, my back? No way. Dude, she's such a Kia that I didn't even know she sang that.
All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy
She's
like
literally
this.
so Kia, we
Body,
didn't
don't
even know
stop,
she
don't
sang
miss.
this.
Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now. Lick it good, suck this pussy just like you should. Right now, lick it good, suck this pussy just like you should. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. First you gotta put your neck into it.
Yeah, that's...
Don't stop, just...
That Kia is truly so poetic. Somebody needs to write a thesis on the terminology of Kia. Because the fact that everybody knows that song but doesn't know who sang it. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. Somebody write the Kia manifesto. A full retrospective on Kia. A forgotten star. That's a good title. He's making a comeback, we won't be there. You quit in 2 days? That's because you're a pussy. You have the pussy gene. You're not in love with the process. You just want to immediate gratification of finding the end product. And if that's your case, why don't you try making AI art?
Who up in they pussy jeans?
Thanks, Florella. I've never had art block. I can't relate. I simply draw because I enjoy it. I do not understand the struggles of not being able to draw or having a block. I don't understand it. Bye-bye. Rolls away. We interested in applying this to Jam Slam? No. I like Sajam though. I met him and his wife recently. They were chill and funny. If I signed up, I would fucking body everybody with my superior diligence and dedication to training. Yeah, I would win. I would literally win immediately. Yeah. I want to drop Pokemon after this. Did I see Hunes? Yeah, she's a giga Pokemon head. She's a Pokemon adult. She's the one fist fighting all the dudes from Costco to get all the packs. I literally saw her. You look at this picture she sent me the other day. Hold on. Let me grab it. Dude, she sent me this picture the other day. She's like, finally got my hands on these. I was like, girl. Just kidding, I stole that from Reddit. But it was probably taken by her. No, that's not her blood. What's an LGS? Oh, local game store? Is it because, I mean, some places sell them at a higher markup so that they have less weirdos. No adults body slamming each other. With the low prices at the moment, oh wow. Good for you. I'm glad people aren't being fucking barbarians.
Fuis ce tableau maudit, cette toile d'une fausse vie. Portrait rêvé, imparfait, chaîne de ta liberté. Alors tranchons la trame, découle la sinistre esquisse. Sors et fuis, je t'en prie. Fuis ce tableau maudit, cette toile d'une fausse vie. Portrait rêvé, imparfait, chaîne de ta liberté.
MSRP for Star Trek is 50, people selling pre-orders for 120. Holy shit. Yeah, I was calculating the prices because I saw someone bought the set that I was saying. It was like the booster bundle, the little smaller booster box, and then the EBT box. And I think the total of that was like 350 USD. Assuming you can find it in stock too. For the Pokemon Rivals one. Do I use one layer for every character? Yeah. I merged the lines in color. Eventually I'll merge it all though, but not right now because I need to add like oops. I need to add stuff like this later. Time for merging the layers. I can just paint on one without having to scroll back and forth. Because if you color in separating all your layers because you want to keep clean lines or whatever, you have to go and make sure your lines are intact and blended into something. But then if you're more into like the painting style, then it's not as big of a deal if you merge and just paint on one. Meow 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 meow. Rent is due. Wait, is it this one? No, it's the one after. Rent not due yet, never mind. No, this one. What do you mean, rent is due? The guy that starts yelling. He's yelling because rent is due. Honestly, the other song is better. This one's better. The yelling, this one. This is the rent to due song. Rent is due. Song is long AF, yeah. 11 minutes. Thing's offinator. Bad instrumentation? The fuck does that even mean? I mean, I'm not a music either, but I thought the instrumentation was pretty well done because it sounded like nice instruments. Maybe when my instrumentation is not good enough.
Son visage dans chaque ligne, son passage. Si nos pulsations jouent à contre-temps, mon amour veille attend.
Did they elaborate on why the bad instrumentation was bad instrumentation? What is that meaning? What does this even mean? Ironically, this is a game everyone on here is raving about. I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, man, I just care about quality in my games. I need a song to be well composed and have good instrumentation. I need art styles to look visually appealing and not make my eyes bleed. That game seems like a prime appearance because it's using marketable elements that other popular games use, such as, rather than just, you see how like this guy gave no examples of anything. Like whole lot of nothing. What does that even mean? Yeah, that is actually what bots would say. Say all that just to say pretty much nothing. Maybe it's probably a bot. That person's probably not real. It's from the r/JRPG subreddit. Ask that guy his opinion on dating minors. Hey man, at least I give examples for my criticism. Some people can't because they're too dumb. They're not knowing. They lack vital information. Do they have weird JRPG takes because they want to gatekeep? They just think new equals bad? Oh. Do they say JRPG is is best, not the shit Westoids make. Sometimes they have that opinion. Well, they should hurry up and get their teaching license for Japan. Let me move this down. Oops. I need more instrumentation. Character I'm most fond of? Monoko. Persona fans are super duper young. I think they probably played it when it was really young. I mean, they played it when they were really young. So they kind of have like the nostalgia lens. But then also anything that has like a kind of weeb. Yeah, I don't think they're young. I think they're like older but mentally young because anything that has like touched by weeb demographic tends to be a little bit, you know, a certain ways. Yeah, I do like that Expedition had more of a older cast and older writing. Yeah, I'm sick of playing as high school students too. Shit is weird. I'm not into that. I mean, even when it comes to anime, I do not like watching. My name is Josuke Bosuke. I'm your average high schooler. I'm actually extremely super fucking smart and a Gary Stu who's actually super fucking insanely strong in every way possible, and all the women want me. Because I'm really fucking strong and smart and a Giga Chad, by the way. Josuke Bosuke. But then Baki kind of is satire. Same with JoJo, so they get a pass. But I think, for example, Solo Leveling is very Gary Stu. Damn, y'all got any good writing? No, we just have aura and hype moments. Damn, Sif doesn't like solo leveling. Because you know, you can have good writing and hype, right? If those weebs could read, they'd be very upset. Oh my god, the amount of weebs that's gonna come for your throat if you said a silent voice wasn't that good. Because one, they fucking cut out half of the book or manga. They had no development for the main antagonist. And this was my opinion before my frontal lobe even fully formed. And they're like, what? I'm like, the whole time they're just pity baiting. It's not, there's no good story. She's just depressed. Are we just supposed to applaud it because she's depressed? Like, they need to have more depth to just the guy being a kind of a loser and then that girl just being mean for kind of barely any reason. She's just a really shallow character. Her intentions were not very well done. Yeah, and that's how you know real bad bitches actually read it, because they're like, yeah, they cut out a lot. They actually developed that girl more. What they should have done is should have just made it a one-season anime. But oh boy, weebs get really ass mad. But it's okay, weebs go to things that say, I say otaku, you say opai. I say otaku, you say opai. Otaku, opai. Otaku, opai. Thanks, Sandy Pajamas. They can only understand connect to archetypes? Yeah, and that's fucking sad, mate. That's fucking sad, mate. Maybe that's why in so many anime games, well, mostly Atlas does, are the most guilty of this, is they have to repeat something 500 times and have the bad guy outright say, yes, I killed your whole family because they suck. Because I'm evil. And then the other characters will go like, what? You killed my family because you're evil? No! Now I will exact revenge. And then people are like, oh, this shit is peak. At least they have the skip button, true. That's why I was skipping through so much slop dialogue when I played Persona 3 Reload. I was like, they just said this exact same thing 10 times. I get it. And then you open Genshin and they don't let you skip. You have to sit there and jack off. And then have Paimon repeat it 5 times, and then have Paimon say that if you criticize her, it's because she's neurodivergent and disabled, and you're not allowed to criticize her. Yeah, she's probably, and then she's gonna find out I said that and block me on Twitter. John recommended me 21st Century Boys, but then I forgot where I left off. I was reading when I was taking a shit one day. I'm deaf, blocked it. Yeah, that fucking new Genshin voice actor guy that a bunch of people were mad at and then some other people were defending had me blocked on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I did. What do you say fuck me for? I don't even do anything on Twitter. My bad, G. Who the new Genshin voice actor for a character they had to replace? I don't know him. I just know he was the new voice actor. Yeah, the fuck did I do, huh? Oh no, pussy maxing. Maybe he didn't like my Bora Bora posting. Yeah, I think the Genshin voice acting shitstorm is still going on, the SAG-AFTRA thing. It's a massive shitstorm. I think the end of it is basically AI voices is gonna take over everyone. Bye-bye, everybody. and the end result is, I mean, as far as I know, I think SAG-AFTRA was negotiating for permissible AI use, but if you're not in the union, you are left to the wolves, more or less. So at least if you're under the union, working on a union project, those studios can't use your voice in AI training without your permission. But if you're not part of the union, then you have no protection against that whatsoever. So they hire you for 20 bucks below union rate and then train the AI off your voice, and you have no say in that. And now people are against the union. Because of the... It's also because, like, if they're forcing a project to be non-union, you have to join the union to be able to keep working on it. Because if you joined it not being in the union and a turning union project, you have, like, 30 days to stay in it. So it's kind of like, it's really not a super black and white issue that people are making it out to be. Like I said, the people that are not under union will not have any AI protection. You basically have to trust the goodwill of these companies to not train your voice. Or not use your voice for training and then just toss you out. And honestly, this works out so well for the companies because they don't even have to say anything, and so many voice actors in the union were like saying all the shit, pissing tons of people off, which has riled up a knee-jerk emotional response from the game player base who honestly don't think very critically about it because they see things at black and white value and just say yes or no, are we against this or with them? And there you have it. Now this is where we are. It's a little stinky. Are consumers intelligent enough to sanction AI VAs? Well, with how companies are, if they are allowed to use unlimited AI voices, they would, because it would literally be cheaper. And if they have no protection, no contract to protect them, no union to protect them, there is nothing they can do. Zero. Nothing. Thanks, Glimson. So it kind of puts non-union people in a sticky spot in addition to union people because everyone's getting fucked over. But the worst thing about the non-union people is if a project turns union, but then they have non-union people that worked on it, they can only work on it for 30 more days unless they join the union, which is what people are saying they're mafia strong-arming people into joining because SAG-AFTRA has like a $3,000 entry fee that you pay up front, and then you do work through them. I think you do work through them or like their agency. I'm not too sure about that, and you have to pay like fees, and under that you get insurance and like health insurance and coverage for stuff. But people kind of get really caught up on the entry fee stuff and say that they're like mafia strong-arming people, and I'm like, well, you know, there's no perfect situation. You want to pick one or the other. But good luck trying to get that nuance into anybody that's just like knee-jerk raging at anything. Yeah, like that Bayonetta thing. People react super emotionally. She was asking for a percentage of sales of Bayonetta, which was not even considered commercially successful, and realistically, looking at it, Nintendo would never do that. And then people would, of course, knee-jerk say, oh, so you don't think voice actors should be paid more? No, but it's just we have to be realistic about these things. And then if you're not being realistic about it, people are like, well, then I don't want it, which is literally the exact thing that I think that's the thing that fucking Johnny Silverhand makes fun of too. Is these people that just have no. They don't think that far. I have to pee. You heard so many people repeat random anti-union propaganda. You ask basic follow-up questions, they have no idea what they're referencing. Yeah, I've looked through some of the sentiment that gamers are having on the SAG-AFTRA thing, and it seems a lot of them are just upset about the union entry fee and the stuff being like, if you turn a project into union, it fucks over non-union people that have already signed on to it. But there are exceptions that can be made for people that are under there. And they don't seem to have any question, or like they don't seem to have any concerns for whether or not, or like for the future, long-term future of people who do not have the compromise deal that the union is trying to set. As in, SAG-AFTRA isn't anti-AI, it's trying to do AI voices, but have the voice actors give permission on whether or not their voices can be used for AI, because it will happen. Unfortunately, so that's like the best compromise they can work towards, as far as I know, and as far as what I've read. And to see people just like very black and white thinking about it, it's kind of depressing. The actors union is one of the few wins workers get in America. Yeah, but because of the negative things that people are saying about like the entry fee and stuff, that's the only thing they can focus on. Would it make sense to do royalty for a company training AI on your voice? But I think the biggest like discrepancy with that is if you're not union and you do a non-union project, it would depend on your contract. Do you think realistically that most voice actors who are indie voice actors, no union, no representation, are able to negotiate for not having their voices being trained by big companies who are trying to pay them as little as possible? Like, do you think that that's realistic? Or do you think that likely these companies will take their voices, train AI, never hire them again, and then they have to go find work elsewhere, non-union, and still accept a below union rate, which is actually very little? Yeah, realistically, you probably could find some situations where someone will be able to manage, hey, don't use my voice in AI or whatever. But the thing about SAG-AFTRA is they are trying to negotiate for permissible AI usage training for the voice actors so that they can have a say in whether or not their voices are used in it, and then whether or not they're like have notified and stuff like that. Like basically have a process for that whole thing. And the whole anti-AI sentiment is also really bad because now it extends past voice acting too. People are like, well, SAG-AFTRA is supporting AI. Not exactly. It's just they're trying to compromise for a technology that will eventually be taken advantage of in the future, because it means companies can be paying less, and if they can get away with paying less, they will get away with paying less. Or like people will see animation studios use their in-house AI. They're like, "What AI? Oh my god, it's bad." See, that's the kind of knee-jerk response that I'm talking about that people have towards these kinds of nuanced issues, like very case-by-case basis things, and they're just like, "What? No!" Yeah. So it's very hard to educate and reason with people when I saw that a lot of them were, they're like, okay, check out this video, and you look at the video and it's from a drama channel. And it's just, oh. No, in-house AI doesn't mean their AI project is trained on other people, because AI just means artificial intelligence. There's so many different applicable ways of using it. In-house AI, for example, being used in Spider-Verse, is they trained a model to draw lines over a 3D model that they are rendering. There is no outside source other than people making a model animated and then they train something to draw brushstrokes over each frame of the model moving. There is no like outside art that they stole to put into that. It's their program, their AI. So that's why when people just see AI, they immediately go, no AI, no, bad. And then there's no conversation to be had because they're like, well, SAG-AFTRA is supporting AI. No, not really. It's trying to have a realistic compromise. It's more than that. And then also multiple voice actors who have worked on that Genshin thing have like made videos about it, talking about it in detail, and go into like the nitty-gritty contractual boring stuff that nobody wants to read. But of course people are gonna flock to the drama bait YouTuber because that elicits a more emotional response and is easier to digest than having to read through lines of text and think about long-term future. So it ends up people repeating the same talking points that just kind of engage and bait frustration and anger. And guess who benefits the most from this? Companies. Having everybody fight among themselves. Now what? I mean, if I said anything inaccurate, let me know. Of course, I don't have all the information on it either. What do I think about necromancy being banned by the Mages Guild? Anybody know the fee for necrophilia in these parts of Tamriel? You get caught up reading a lot of stuff? Yeah, so, I mean, if you know more than I do, if I said anything wrong, feel free to correct me. I think the specific AI that people are freaking out about is the generative derivative AI. And it's actually so... It's really annoying that people are conflating just all kinds of AI with that specific kind of AI, which is the one that most people are against. So when you say Spider-Verse used AI to animate their movie, people will just immediately go, "What?" Like, no, that's not. It's not the AI you think it is. They end up getting away with it, exactly, which is why the corpos are so happy people are fighting right now about the SAG-AFTRA stuff. Because guess who gets to get away with the most? They do. Thanks, Blau Doge. Same people who got mad at Fortnite using James Earl Jones' voice for AI Vader. Yeah, I saw, and I think that what people were upset about, and let me know if I am incorrect in any way whatsoever. People's sentiment on that was that their SAG-AFTRA was not happy with that because that guy was part of SAG-AFTRA, which is the union. And people started saying, well, SAG-AFTRA is just annoyed because they're not getting a fee, they're not getting a cut. It's like, do you know what kind of precedent this sets? If someone who is under a union made the decision to have a deal with a company outside of the union that's supposed to represent them, the kind of precedent that sets that people can just like willy-nilly say yes or no to AI. The whole point of the union is the collective. It's kind of a, you should never give a company an inch like that. If it sets a bad precedent, it's so fucked. So basically, I think the situation is that guy's dead, right? And he was like chill with them making AI of his voice, but he was part of SAG-AFTRA. So they ended up using his AI voice, and SAG-AFTRA disagreed with it. And before his death, he was okay with it. Then the willy-nilly details of it that I don't know is, was that deal made outside of SAG-AFTRA or with? Because another complication is this AI voice thing is very recent in terms of like voice acting being a job. What was the paperwork and contracts involved for it?
We live in a society daph stand.
Thing's very wrong. You still SAG after the afterlife? SAG-AFTRA is a scumbag corporate hiding behind non-AI. But why? Can you explain? I want to know why you think that. The deal is made between him and Lucasfilm, not any SAG-AFTRA is involved. If he is a voice actor under SAG-AFTRA and he made that deal behind SAG-AFTRA when he was alive and under representation of the union, it complicates a lot of things, and I think if they are okay with it and that they think that the final say of whether or not someone's dead voice should be used for AI is up to that person making a deal outside of SAG-AFTRA, I don't know. I think it's just a dangerous precedent. And it's just such a like specific case that people haven't seen before. So it's hard to have a black and white take on it. But people saying that SAG-AFTRA just wants money for it and that they're just upset because they don't get a cut. Unfortunately, I think it's a little more complicated than that. Yeah, so is that guy gonna respond? Can you explain this? Where did this person go? Where did they run to? Yeah, can you explain? Like, I want to know what makes you think this. And I want to see if we can have a nuanced conversation about the current climate of voice acting in Union. SAG encourages unions to join non-union games to convert them to the union. By the way, not saying I told you so, but rewind about 5 minutes ago to the VOD. So, let me break it down to you. Where do I start? Let me think. So I need to organize my thoughts. Okay. So here's a reason that here's the optics of why SAG-AFTRA is bad. The optics of it is, if currently people are striking, if SAG-AFTRA is forcing non-union projects to go union, non-union voice actors who are part of that project can only work on it for 30 more days. However, whether or not this is true is up to a case-by-case basis, and we don't know, is that they can have a special contract with that project where they, as a non-union voice actor, are allowed to keep working on it beyond the 30-day range. Like, supposedly. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. That being said, if a project is union, guess how much more everybody is paid? Let's say, for example, a non-union person is paid $20 an hour, a union person is paid $50 an hour, and they have to have a minimum of a 5-hour recording a week. For example, non-union, nothing. Another thing, the SAG-AFTRA thing, that the topic that has been blowing up recently is the argue of AI. The AI is SAG-AFTRA wants to come to a compromise with voice actors so that companies can use AI with the voice actor's permission. If you're non-union, whether or not you're covered by that umbrella protection or like permission is unknown. You're kind of just left on your own. Then realistically, do you think non-union members can negotiate with a contract that they're filming with, recording for, that they can somehow in their contract say, hey, if you ever use my voice for AI, I'm not okay with it, let me know. Do you think they have any kind of negotiating power? Like, let's say generally? Realistically, probably not. So, if we boil down the problems with SAG-AFTRA is like them having an entry fee of $3,000, them forcing non-union projects to be union, and then that way it cuts out non-union voice actors out of the project. And let's say realistically this affects a handful of people, maybe more, like it's a percentage of people. This percentage, we don't know. So the problem is, people are saying SAG-AFTRA is strong-arming people into joining SAG-AFTRA that has an entry fee, and if they don't join, then they get effectively fucked, correct? And then, but the thing is, joining a union gives you, joining that SAG-AFTRA union, I believe you pay the entry fee, you pay like fees yearly. They give you union projects, which they pay you union rate for, which is, it can be like a non-union rate can be like $30 an hour. A union rate can be like 100 to 200 with a minimum of like 2 hours per session. So that means if you record for only 10 minutes, they have to pay you for a 2-hour session. And if it was a $100 an hour, then you get paid $200 for sure. If you're non-union, $10, they only need you to record for 1 hour, that's $10 an hour, for example. So in that case, then we boil it down, condense it to, do you think people that can't afford to join the union should still be voice actors? Are you still following what I'm saying? Indie voice actors, I guess I'll die then. That's pretty much it comes down to, I think. Big corporate don't give a fuck about copyright intellectual property. Yeah. Because the collective benefit of being in a union is, well, you get minimum rate, like a minimum recording hours, you get the union rate, you get a union project. Non-union, you can do whatever you want, take whatever jobs you want. You will always be stuck at a lower rate. You will always be competing with other people who are also undercutting you because they're also non-union. You will not be protected by the AI compromise deal that they're trying to set up. So, what do you think? Union or non-union? Because the biggest problem that people have with the SAG-AFTRA thing is you have to pay an entry fee to join, $3,000, a lot of money. Or you don't pay the entry fee, you keep doing non-union work, you will eventually get fucked over if not already, and them forcing projects to be union cuts these non-union members out. So here's and then the question is, do you think non-union voice actors feel entitled to work? Having voice actor be your only source of income is not a great idea. I agree, but that's my opinion. I'm laying it down to let you think whether or not you think, do you think SAG-AFTRA is scamming people because of what they're doing? I'm trying to give it to you objectively, as far as my knowledge goes, to see if you can come to a conclusion with what is put in front of you. Have you looked at their budgets and how much they actually help their numbers? Well, that's why I asked my voice actor friend, hey, how much non-union pays? 30 to 40 an hour? How much union pay? Anywhere from 100 to 200 with a minimum 2-hour recording per session. However, entry fee of 3,000. And insurance and health insurance and all that, and like umbrella protection of what they negotiate as a collective. So I guess think about it. Entry fee and anything else? Entry fee, and then you have to like you have like a small fee as you work with them, I think. The strike was a work through the pressure to become unigame rather than full strike. Yeah, it is. But the sentiment that we're like talking about is the optics of SAG-AFTRA, because people are like, oh, they're scamming people, they're this and that, they're this and that. I mean, I don't think they should have stepped on Genshin like that, because it just ended up causing a beehive to just go ape shit. But who do you think is more likely to take advantage of you, a union or a corporate? Also, that 3,000 goes into helping you out. It's not the company fires you, you need to strike, it's only just burning 3K, yeah. The new bill might be passed that allowed large company to use any kind of content. Yeah, and that's what SAG-AFTRA was trying to come to a compromise with for AI voices. So, what if the union is a corpa? A union, if you want to come to the conclusion that the union is also a corporate and therefore all corporates are bad, there is always one worse option. I think the situation is literally weighing not ideal versus bad. You've heard from people that there are roughly 4 non-union jobs for every 1 union job, not to mention your competition for jobs become higher. That's also because non-union jobs pay way less. And you have less so that's where you have to weigh. Non-union jobs are going to pay you way less. Non-union jobs are also, you're going to be undercut by someone else who's also non-union, because you're all trying to scramble to get work. And union jobs, however, will pay you more, have a minimum hours per session that you have to record, and overall like a larger long-term, just like I would say more stable sources of work with companies for recording. Non-union is kind of all over the place, and you don't really have protection for your voice being used for AI unless you somehow, being a key voice actor, are able to negotiate for that with an individual company. So So that leads to another conversation. Is I tell you the benefits and the pros and cons of being union and the pros and cons of being non-union. Now next is, do you think someone who wants to do indie voice acting deserves a living wage? And do you think realistically they can get a living wage? Because this also ties into the sentiment that people have towards this union having a high entry fee. They deserve it, but realistically, no. Yeah, I agree. Is realistically someone who is just trying to do voice acting to be able to make a full-time income off of voice acting is very, very hard. So how do you go about that? You kind of have to just take everything, or you have to pay the rate so that you get paid more, or you just keep floating around taking undercutting jobs. Like a full-time job is streaming, yeah. You're working overtime in the coal mines? Nice. Favorite equipment of excavation? VA should be paid by how good they are at the job, period. And then here's where I give you another situation of whether or not someone is union or non-union. Non-union, they will usually go for the cheapest rate. Union, they kind of have a baseline, a base standard of how much they have to pay all the union voice actors that are interested in that job. So if they get a non-union person applying for the project, that person is massively undercutting people who may be more talented because they're willing to take a lower rate. Did you see all this nuance about this? It's not something you can just summarize in 2 sentences. $3,000 is 1 to 3 months rent for an indie VA. Yeah, the entry fee is very high, which is why it's not saying that SAG-AFTRA is easy and attainable and that you must get in it, you have to. 3,000 is a very steep price. I think it's like 3,000. I don't remember exactly. Not all black and white, no. It is 3K? $30.60? Pay $250 annual fee and 1.5% of your proceeds. Yeah, so do you so then the question is, for people that think SAG-AFTRA is bad, do you think that SAG-AFTRA is better long term if you can afford the entry fee? Or do you think it's still a scam despite all the pros? Is it 3K a year? No, 3K a year in. So would you prefer saving up for a 3K entry fee to join the union and be paid union rates and have union benefits and whatever they collectively are bargain for? Or would you rather constantly do non-union work where you may be competing with other people who are undercutting? You are undercutting people. However, you can work on as much things as you like. And do you think realistically you will actually be able to get that many jobs? I think that's what it's coming down to. Do you think you can actually be constantly spam booking jobs as non-union? Okay, they also have health insurance, yeah. Is that 1 5 grocery to cover your insurance? Is that more you have to pay out? I'd assuming it's because unions collect dues. Whether or not where that money goes in, I'm assuming it's like union stuff. So, so the thing people are most upset about is they're forcing non-union projects to be union, which will push out non-union voice actors, which I do think they shouldn't have overstepped that, but to say that collectively SAG-AFTRA is bad and people like going like just straight up saying wrong shit is very weird and inaccurate. I mean, if I said anything wrong, let me know. Did that chat ever respond? Not really. Because the thing that people are upset about SAG-AFTRA about or on and like the response that you're seeing on Reddit and a lot of social media about SAG-AFTRA being evil is surrounding that one specific issue of saying that SAG-AFTRA is greedy, that they want to fuck over non-union voice actors, but unfortunately, I think if you look at the big picture, it is for the benefit of more voice actors that they are not setting a bad precedent. Or like, for example, the Vader AI thing, because they have to make sure that voice actors under them are not going out to make their own deals, because that's the point of a union, is that they collectively bargain for something. They are trying to fuck over non-union voice actors to persuade them to join their union. Yeah, that's the bad part, is that they shouldn't have overstepped. But, yeah, but if we're looking at it long term, the non-union voice actors are going to get fucked. Regardless. Yeah, they are going to get fucked. She can't claim the beginning of making a union when telling people it's made for strike for AI protection. It was probably both. But I think they probably thought the optics of the AI protection would be better. But it also does make sense because the AI protection isn't misleading per se. It is that if it becomes a union project and then everybody has to be union, then they have an umbrella protection for AI negotiation. It would be... Honestly, I don't fucking know what they're talking about behind the scenes. This is as much as I can piece together from the knowledge that I know that I can put together by thinking critically as much as I can about it from an outsider. They're basically doing whatever they have in order to have power, even if some of their decisions are unpopular. But what does them being in power do? I want you to answer that. What does staying in power do to them? Does it make companies pay voice actors more as a result? It gives them negotiating power at companies, and unions make companies pay voice actors more. So now what? Yeah, you're agreeing. Yeah. So that means if unions have more power and they are increasing benefits and increasing the bottom pay of voice actors that are in their union, and non-voice actors are getting fucked as a result because they're not under that protection and they can't pay the fee to join and they can't join, then what do? Realistically, and they can't make a living. Realistically, you get another job. That's realistically. Yeah. So then that's why I thought the conversation kind of falls down to, do you think certain non-union voice actors are feeling entitled to certain pay and benefits despite being non-union? Like, they want the union pay, they want the benefits, but they can't afford to join. So them not joining fucks over themselves, and they're kind of like demanding for it and saying that it's unfair. And then them getting pushed out because they're non-union. So people will say, well, SAG-AFTRA is being a bully, they're a mafia. But then, realistically, what can you do? As a Kia voice actor, you get another job.
81
Unfortunate.
See you at 82 months.
I think that's just realism. Why can't they join? For a number of reasons, because joining you, if there's a strike, you may be limited to only union projects. Actually, I'm not even sure, do you have to work on union projects if you're a union? Or, there's a $3,000 entry fee. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Silver King. So would you rather get fucked? Would you rather get fucked by Corpa being non-union, or get fucked by paying that massive fee that you have to save up for because you really want to be a full-time voice actor but you can't afford it? Or do you just get another job and then try to join the union and then suck it up? Realistically, that's what I would do. You can still work on certain... Yeah, they do have exceptions made. The union feels more beneficial for VAs who are able to get consistent work in VA as compared to someone who's new to it and aren't able to make ends meet by just doing VA work. Yeah. And I think if... I think, like, it is unfortunate if SAG-AFTRA decided to make a union project, or make a non-union project union, and it cuts out the voice actors, the non-union voice actors out if it does go through. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to get a new job. It just really, like, the fuck do you do?
Daph Cozy KPO.
Thanks, RC's Vice. And I think saying that kind of also gives people like a knee-jerk response to be like, so you don't think they deserve to get paid? Like, I'm being very, very realistic. Side hustle VA while you have another job. Yeah, that's why a lot of VAs are trying to be influencers and streamers so that they can have multi-source income. Because voice acting on its own, especially if you're indie and just starting out, is not going to pay enough. So if you're not getting paid enough, and then you're getting stiffed by the union because you can't join the union, then realistically your responsibility is as an adult who's trying to break into this field. You cannot bring about a revolutionary. Unfortunately, okay, this is real life. Is you get another job, make enough money, join the union so you don't get fucked anymore, and then you do whatever the fuck you want. And take the roles. Is it front-loaded career? I mean, I think so is streaming. But you don't really need like contractual obligation with the company to start streaming. You have to like have a setup, you have to have monitor, you have a keyboard or whatever, and all that costs hundreds of dollars. Maybe thousands. And you just cannot be a streamer without sinking hundreds of dollars in it first. And the reason I bring up that talking point is because there's a lot of jobs that I think you cannot feel entitled to a full-time salary for because it's not realistic. I was a small streamer making emotes and I made like, I think the first year I made like $9,000. If I lived on my own and had to pay rent, $9,000 a year, that is not enough. I would have to do other shit. I can't just like demand people to pay me more. I have to go do something else. I can't just be a full-time streamer, full-time emo artist off of nothing. You would go get something else if you're not getting paid enough. So that's why, in my opinion, when indie voice actors are like, well, we're getting giga fucked over by this, realistically, your livelihood cannot depend on your indie voice acting. You have to find other income sources. And if you put all the blame on SAG-AFTRA, and I'm not saying they're blameless, you have to take some accountability in surviving and making a living wage as an adult. And if you cannot do that off of indie voice acting alone, you have to find other sources of income. And then the which brings it to another point of the Paimon VA going like, but I'm disabled and neurodivergent, that's why I had to scab. Meaning like breaking the strike. She was like, well, I had to break the strike to do my work because I'm like disabled or something. And girl, there's tons of disabled people out there that are still working and making a living. Like, there is definitely an air of entitlement to working these creative jobs that people think entitles them to a lot of money. And I'm not saying that people don't deserve to get paid more. They absolutely do, but it's like that Bayonetta situation where you have to be realistic about what to expect and what your demands are. And if that realism makes you lash out and makes you come up with excuses because you are not taking accountability to find other income sources and then saying that you had to do X, Y, and Z, like for example, breaking a strike, then you're kind of fucked. Yeah, and then I remember when I was playing that Resident Evil game, and I was like, if you're breaking a strike, as there was like a general voice acting strike, I remember, I think. Someone was like, well, what if they can't pay the bills? What if someone has to, what if a non-union voice actor can't pay the bills and they have to take this job? They have to undermine the overall movement of why everybody else is striking. They have to take this job. It's like, girl, you have to get a new job. You can't feel entitled to the voice acting career that you want because it's a lucrative, well, I wouldn't say it's lucrative, but it's like a very coveted job that everybody wants. Like being a streamer, being an actor, being an artist, being a voice actor. Coveted? Coveted? I don't know, I hope I'm making sense. I ended up yapping about it a little bit. Or vetted. Feels straightforward. Why are people so confused and arguing? I think it's because some people can't fathom that it is not black and white. It is very bad option versus worse option. And then the jingling keys of this thing that they did is really bad, but overall is long-term more beneficial. Versus jingling this key, or like versus this is like long-term you're fucked. Because it's like a short-sighted way of seeing it. Don't rage against that, but the union has an entry fee. The union is helping to create non-union jobs. Yeah. And the entry fee being so steep is why a lot of people can't join. And with how the union is strong-arming projects, non-union projects to be union, if you're an indie voice actor, you don't join, you're fucked. Therefore, the next realistic solution is you get another job. You don't feel a sense of entitlement of having a full-time income from your voice acting job, realistically. I mean, you want to try, I mean, if a bunch of non-union members started wanting to collectively bargain against the union having that fee, they could try if they like can organize all of them together and be like, hey, and then they end up unionizing against the union. You know what? If they want to do that, they can and try to go for a revolution on the fucking industry standard, whatever. Good luck, okay? You can do that, sure. Or you could just be realistic. I think it's a good topic, though. The anti-union union club. John is in union, yeah. But I agree, ideally the entry fee is... In an ideal world, okay, the entry fee is not so much, and it's not a massive hurdle for aspiring voice actors to join. In an ideal world, there was no entry fees and there's no non-union jobs. Yeah, that's true. You're right. In an ideal world, Gandalf teleports the hobbits. In an ideal world, there is... No, not even teleports Mount Doom to the Shire. In an ideal world, there is no rings. Everybody just lives like hobbits. Happy, smoking weed, and frolicking. I just hope I explain my thought process as much as I can. And hopefully I don't get dogpiled by a stray Redditor. And then they talk about how I'm racist again. You'll be rolled no matter what as you provided 0 sources. Just go read the SAG after terms. Eventually probably lowers there's more demand, so demand problem might read maybe. We won't ever know that for sure. I did get a little verbose and talked in circles. I wasn't sure if my point was clear. So you don't want voice actors to live? Yes, Bailey, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, let's press the orbital laser that strikes all voice actors to death. Bye-bye! How's Yeon doing? He's chilling. He just went to the groomers. Yippee! And then another thing about non-union opportunities is, do you think, like, this will always be in your mind because it affects non-union voice actors more than union, is do you think they hired you because they really thought you were the best guy for the job, or is it because you had a lower rate? Let's just say there's a reason certain games sound like that. Because there is at least a baseline standard union rate that they have to pay for union projects. And maybe they made a coefficient of you were the cheapest for this. Like, you weren't necessarily the best, but you weren't the worst. The guy cheaper than you is slightly worse, but you're a little more expensive, but like still very cheap, but you're just okay. And they pick you. But you are not the best. Yeah. Not every project can afford the best, no. I don't know if you're uncut or something. You wouldn't know, but I brought up that point because it would generally happen more in non-union opportunities, because for union projects, there is a much higher rate that you have to pay. So that means the non-union rates are lower, and therefore they might be more likely to penny pinch because they don't already have to shell out like at least $100 per hour per voice actor. They only have like a range of 20 to 40 per hour pay. You wouldn't know exactly. But I would say like, if you're thinking about it probability wise, the undercutting or a more subpar performance is probably more likely for non-union. I don't think that's too far-fetched. Yeah, the corporate hates when you share how much you make. And maybe talk about the time, the hustle. Yeah, there's a lot of voice actors that are like, yeah, I started voice acting when I was a dishwasher, or like I worked a coffee job, a side job. I really wanted to make it work, blah blah blah. So that's why for me personally, when people bring up the, oh no, think about these poor indie VAs that won't be able to put food on the table anymore. I'm like, sorry, but realistically, if I was in their position, I would have to get a second part-time job, sell art, sell emotes. Or in my specific position, that's what I would do in my hypothetical. Things rip assent. They could even stream. A lot of voice actors do that. Like they do influencer gig stuff as a side thing. They stream YouTube short form content, stuff like that. That's why I don't think the argument of think of the one starving indie VA who is one project away from going homeless is a very I don't think that's a very good hypothetical to try to push the argument that SAG-AFTRA is a scam and a mafia. Because while they did overstep, and I don't agree with them forcing certain projects to be union, I don't think that is... Like, you're trying to appeal to people's emotions instead of being realistic about it. That's my opinion. Shouldn't it be a vehicle homeless? Yeah. Because I think that's what the end of that argument comes down to is, oh no, they're pushing people out. They're pushing indies out. These poor indies, they're going to starve and lose work and die. Well, unfortunately, considering everything that we said, which one's worse? Those who come after. I don't know what the Fall of Avalon is. Is that the Skyrim looking game? Is it Googe? I want to replay Soma. I think I said I didn't want to replay and I changed my mind. Avalon fell? Oh shit. What do I think of Songbird this time out? Well, I barely interacted with her because she got fucking owned by the Basilisk IC or something? The Chimera. She kind of disappeared. I think she's a well-written character though. And I think I'm like understanding a lot of the everything a lot more with the post-frontal lobe development. Yeah, brain buff. Did I like the DLC in my first playthrough? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. I was indifferent to it because I didn't fucking understand or care about the political intrigue of it until I got older. And even replaying Witcher 2 made me realize that. I was like, oh yes, indeed. Well, you see, Redania is pushing against the Nilfgaardian invasion because they're at the forefront of the Nilfgaardian moving north from the south. And then we have Kedwan and the other place, you know, on the side where they're on the Pontar Valley. And I'm like, oh yes, indeed. First time I played it, oh boops. I think my taste just kind of changed as I got older. I am enjoying the land dispute political commentary a lot more. I am enjoying the narrative on we live in a society. I mean, even the difference between this year and last year is when I started reading Horus Rising, I started rereading it. I'm in the beginning of Act 2. There was a lot of things that I didn't really pick up. I was just reading it kind of like, ooh, cool Ultramarines. Oh yeah, these guys are like fascists or something, right? And then you don't really pick up, or like, now it's really fucking obvious to me. But back then when I first read it, I was like, oh yeah, that guy died. Yeah, whatever, man. Okay. And then it didn't really occur to me that as he was walking through the ruins of the war that they didn't need to start on this planet with the false emperor and the iterator like walking around seeing the graffiti of the resistance going against the Imperials and him getting mad and then him getting his head crushed as a result. I was like, just like whatever about it, you know? But now it's a lot more meaningful. Yeah, you thinking you're like, damn. But then now it's just so... Even, it like feels really obvious now, looking back. But it really just goes over your head. And I think that applies to playing games. Because when you're used to just consuming mindlessly. So when it comes to reading a book, it's like, well, I just think the world is cool. I just think these characters are cool. Cool. Or like you play a game, you're like, well, I think Geralt is cool. Cool. And then that's kind of it. Versus when you're used to analyzing stories, analyzing the commentary, analyzing the we live in a society aspect of it, then you start noticing a lot more of the nuances that the writers are trying to tell you, and it becomes a lot more interesting, which is why I said now replaying games is like a completely new experience than playing games 5 years ago. And that's got to be the pre and post-frontal lobe development, because your brain is a muscle. Is your brain a muscle? No. But when you work out, when you use a part of your brain a lot, you get used to using it. It's a skill that you do develop. It's a complicated jello. Yeah. Your brain is like a muscle. Yeah, your brain is like a muscle. So when you're used to analyzing things in a more critical way, then you start seeing it everywhere, and then things become a lot more interesting. Where, like, for example, the Kingdom Come thing, even though that was only... me talking about it was only like a few months ago, now I'm looking back and I'm like, yeah, no shit, that felt so obvious. And then the downside is, as a result of that, anything that isn't at your standard of being here, unfortunately just feels mid. And you can tell exactly why it feels mid. And when you tell exactly why it feels mid, people that are down here get offended at that because they do not understand the gap between you and them. That's the downside. That being said, I still enjoy slop. Prequels were the prequel Star Wars movies were fucking hilarious. Things luxurious rhino. What triggered it for me? I don't know. I was talking about this too. Like, I don't know what, but I felt like my brain exponentially changed in the last year, and the only difference is that I am now dating an extremely attractive, strong, buff, emotionally intellectual, very literate guy, very well-read guy. And maybe it's that way where we're like communicating and giving each other feedback about like literature that makes us think critically more, and as a result that ended up like latching into my brain to subconsciously do that more. Because I've always liked analyzing literature. I really liked English and like writing essays, writing theses and stuff. But then after I graduated high school, I dropped out of university, so then you're not really pursuing that kind of academic approach to things, just kind of like streaming, playing games or whatever, mindlessly, to be honest. And you just kind of, you don't even realize that you're not really thinking. Yeah, and I feel like Nietzsche, oh, I haven't even started on my giant bag of books. I've been spending my free time watching Andor. Yeah, and I forgot what I was gonna say. What was my point of view? Oh yeah, and the fact that like now I feel like I am consuming things in a, just like watching movies, reading books in a more critical way, I actually feel even more stupid. Because the difference that I felt from before to now, I was like, how the fuck did I not see this before? That means there's a potential to go even further beyond. And I'm even more stupid because I know there's so much more that I can't reach. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to play and draw and learn. like to play and draw. Maybe that's also why people have become so sorry, this is my my pushes glasses up Redditor take. Maybe that's why people have also become so predictable to me in the past year. Feels like I unlocked a skill tree or something. I have to get some water. What are you gonna do? I don't know, jack off. I'm gonna get some water. I had to quickly close the door because Kitty was about to walk in. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I can see the future. I can scan people and guess what they're like. Man, people being predictable. Vibe checking people. And then going like, I feel like this person is because of this thing is gonna happen. And then boom, 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 it happens. And I'm like, I knew it, it's because of this. But that could just be confirmation bias. Yeah, it could be just growing up and then you kind of pattern recognition just subconsciously gets built in. And EXP. Thanks Lord LTG. I did for a sponsor. That was it. Out of sight? Know what that is. What that is. Not too long yapping. I didn't get very much. This is This is like R2D2. Down, 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 down. Meow, meow. Oh, I don't know what that looks like, man. Last time you heard the song, your ex was learning it for her piano lessons? Yeah, but your ex is a fucking hoe, so get over it. That's a little blunt? Oh, I want to be a big blunt. Why am I a little one? Fuck! Because of the patriarchy. I am honestly just making this. Can't see it. Whatever. How cyberpunk? What the fuck is this? I can't believe Kia came full circle to my pussy, my back. Holy shit. The universe works in mysterious ways. From Clair Obscure, yeah, it's when you fight the dog. I do not like the instrumentation. Can't argue with a motherfucker that just wants to argue. Well, I think you might be giving that guy too much credit because that guy proceeded to like say other things about the games without giving specific examples, like saying that they only put things in the game that people wanted without explaining what. Like what? Or like saying that the graphics made his eyes bleed. And I'm like, what? You don't like pedals? What? You got any like specifics? Bro sipping on Haterade. Yeah, you're giving him talking points. Just to help him out. He's so lost. I'm just winging this. Will I ever play? No. Are you, trying to get a sponsor? You have to go through my agent. Nice fucking try, bitch. And I'm on the do not contact list now. Oh, so unprofessional! Me when I'm a shulker box.
Vestito nere marina, estrelina che soledad, dona l'ora tovla, Alina. Esta surano dagi merano tonarego verso
Star Wizard. What is this one? Yeah. Is it this way? Am I drawing for myself? Because I like drawing. That's about it. Yeah. No reason. Is commissioned by Gord? Who the fuck is Gord? Who he is? Who him is? Who dat boy? Who him is? Commissioner Gordon? Big Gord. This part's my favorite. This right there. Again. This is the kind of beat drops I love. Not wow 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 wow. When it goes beep boop beep boop. Shaking ass in the Gastral Village Club. I just want it because it'll look cool. I'm not a real vinyl fucker. I don't put my dick through the donut hole. Yeah, I'm a poser. Oh, sorry. Ow, ow, ow. Why is saving taking? It's weird. Whoa, playlist! Freaking died. It's a... Delicious. Look how small her hand is compared to her head. And I think this is an in-game screenshot. Their heads are fucking massive. I didn't make it up. Maybe they're just French? Bobblehead fetish? Well, you know the mimes you fight, they have massive heads, so maybe. Usually, gameplay. Shut up, pussy. Your mother's measured in penis. Somebody put that guy in a locker. I'm a bustin' ass on tatas. I'm a bustin' ass on tatas. Cyberbone? I don't know yet. I don't know. Abasabun Asatada. Nobody agreed to Dragon Age December. The fuck is that? no union here. This is a dictatorship. Balamu, balami. Anything a mouse or tablet? Yeah. If I took a shot every time somebody asked that, I would be fucking dead. Do you feel death, Mr. Turner? Continuez de pondre daph. Ah, mais je joue le
de la punk douceur avec mon ami Idriss Elba. Idriss Elba. C'est la Blair C'est la Blair. What is robe de jour? Your mom's a whore. Oh, the Syrian. Oh yeah, I did hear it. Robe de jour. Oh, it's the Titanic song. My boy Void. Bonjour mon ami. Tu parles français? Oui.
enchanté par la grâce et la beauté, merveilleux
Morlami.
jour dans sa robe d'amour animée. Elle vit monde réjoui, beauté.
Fake language. It is French Canadian because that's the French you have to learn in Canada. So yeah, you're not wrong. You're not right. You're not wrong. I can't speak English. Did you see one of the theaters showing Final Destination's roof collapsed? Nice marketing. Again.
Dans sa robe, elle rayonne, lumière de velours. Dans sa robe de jour feutrée, elle dessine mouvement parfait, douceur de l'âme, elle chante souffle calme. Allez enchanté par la grâce et la beauté, merveilleux jour dans sa robe d'amour animée. Elle vit monde réjoui, beauté, douceur de l'âme.
How many Final Destination movies are there now? Like fucking 50? Four? There's way more than 4. They have 10 novels? No, they don't. That's freaking cap. Blech.
Dim dam talilam fakam s'en va dans l'oubli éternel.
Am I a reader? Instead of reading lately, I've been watching Andor. Did I finish Severance? I did, actually. those who come after. Hello, I need 4,000 chroma, please. Guys, I accidentally bought two of the earrings that I got. I accidentally bought 2 pairs of the same earring. What will I do? My freaking life is fucked. Which ones? And it's like little legs opening little pussy.